way, north to south, east to west, coast to coast. It's the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network. I'm James Parker filling in for John David Wells. Find me on Twitter at James Parker Show. And I love filling in here on USA Radio Network because right now my little voice is bouncing off something that's floating in outer space. And it gets decoded by a machine and then bounced to you, however you're listening. Thank you very much for hanging out. If you want more of me, download the Winning at Life app. My day job is Winning at Life with Gregory Rich, the financial talk show. You can hear us on KBDT, the Dallas affiliate of the USA Radio Network, the flagship. We're on Saturdays at 11. And we were just getting a good giggle here on the break. While y'all are listening to the news, a lot of times I like to flip through the TV and kind of get caught up on my DVR, see if I miss anything, any good sound, making sure if there's breaking news I can pass it along to you. So the people who are watching over here on Facebook Live get to listen to what I listen to on the breaks. And we were giggling because there's a little rift here between Senator Sanders' campaign, the staff, and hang on, aren't you out there asking for a $15 an hour minimum wage? I'm a part-timer for your staff here. I'm not making $15 an hour. What the heck, dude? So,
good evening. I'm Jackie DeAngelis. Joining me on the panel tonight, Jonas Max.
This is Fox Business, by the way.
Smith, Zachary Karabell. Great to see you guys. Bernie Sanders facing some heat as the Washington Post reports some members of his own campaign are claiming they are not being paid the $15 minimum wage their candidate champions for. Field organizers for the Sanders campaign who currently make about $30.
See, it's so many of these times where they say these things that you should be doing, but they want to exempt themselves from it. It's sort of the Animal Farm behavior where, yes, all animals are created equal. Some are just more equal than others. Oh, I get it. I'm supposed to drive an electric car and take a train if I want to go across the country, but you can jump into a private jet to meet a fleet of SUVs to go to your events. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm supposed to live in a tiny house with a little carbon footprint, but Al Gore gets to live in a 26,000 square foot compound that burns up more energy than Haiti does in a year. Oh, I see. And yet, Bernie Sanders wants you, if you start a business, you got to pay, even the little 15-year-old part-timer dropping the fry bucket, you got to pay him a living wage so he can support a family of four, even though he is one of the four in someone else's family. Yeah, everyone else, if you start a business, you got to pay at least $15 an hour or you're inhuman. But Bernie Sanders himself, he's not paying $15 an hour. And listen, it doesn't matter even if you pay $15 an hour. They don't care. You think that if you acquiesce to their demands, they're going to leave you alone. But just in the last week, we saw two things. We saw the walkout of some Amazon workers on Amazon Prime Day. Now, hey, we're not getting a fair shake. We don't like the way they treat us. This evil corporation acting all corporation-y is just running poor people and just downtrodden them underfoot. Oh, really? Because Jeff Bezos is one of the more dedicated lefty political activists you can have as a CEO. Doesn't get a whole lot more lefty than that. And they already jacked up your wages to $15 an hour. They already offer all kinds of crazy benefits. It doesn't matter. Even if you do what they want, they're still going to complain if it helps their narrative. Appeasing them doesn't make it better. Appeasing them doesn't even make it go away. The other one that happened was Abigail Disney went undercover to see how the low, poor, pitiful, poor people, common folk workers are doing over at Disney World. And you know that they were complaining about their job? Of course they are. You're talking to a 20-year-old. They're supposed to hate their job. You're not supposed to like your job when you're 20. You're not supposed to like your job really when you're 25. But what do you think working at a park's going to be like? Yeah, you're going to be in a big old plush costume when it's 100 degrees outside and a hot, hot Florida sun, smelling and stinking and sweating and dealing with nasty kids and gross kids and rude kids and people spilling stuff on you and bumping into you, making the same jokes, getting lost. Where's the bathroom? Where can I get some food? Yeah, it's a pretty miserable job. But you know what else Disney does? They pay $15 an hour. They have paid maternity leave. They have education assistance. They have paid child care. They have bent over backwards to have all the amenities that go right down the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, AOC checklist. And they still get griped at. Why? Because you're in the 1%, pal. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have to train the rest of the American people to hate the successful people in order for my worldview to make sense. All right. That aside, and whenever you see these guys turn their guns on each other, they've been doing it a lot lately, haven't they? AOC turning on Pelosi, turning on them back. It's a mess. All right, joining me now. Oh, no, I think I just hung up on her. Did I just hang up on her? I did. All right, I'm calling her right back. Joining me now is the great Debbie Schlussel. DebbieDoesPolitics.com is her website, but for us, we take her for the movie reviews first, and then we'll talk about the news of the day next. Hey, welcome back, Debbie. It's been a while.
Thank you. Great to be back.
All right, so first things first, let's get it out of the way. The new Lion King remake, you have not seen that, right?
I did not see it.
Okay. Now, have you talked to other movie critics who have seen it?
Yes, and I've heard mixed reactions. Some people say, oh, it's great. They've updated it. Other people say they focus too much on the special effects to make the animation look lifelike, but did not focus too much on the story and that it's just kind of a crummy movie. That's what I've heard.
You know what it feels like to me, because I saw the little scene that they released, and it looks like these deep fake videos that were going around about 3 weeks ago where they were making AOC or other people say things that they clearly didn't say, but they wanted it to look as real as possible. This looks like what was probably an hour and a half long deep fake video where they took a lion and these other animals and they made them say things that they didn't say. So it's kind of realistic, but you can kind of tell that it's not. But I think it's really cool because we are really blurring the lines between real life and animation at this point.
I agree with you, and I think it is cool. But, you know, with all these special effects, the big thing is you've got to have a good story. And you got to have something it's got to be interesting and entertaining. And I think too many of these movies, it's lifelike, it's great special effects, but when it comes down to the story, there's not much there. Now, if there's a great story, you don't really need all of those things. But if you do have them, they're just the cherry on top or the icing on the cake.
Okay, but what about these other movies where they've done the same thing? And I'm thinking of Beauty and the Beast. How did that work out, the live-action remake of that classic?
You know, I can't remember. I do remember that Beauty and the Beast was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest. It was there.
All right, what else is coming out this weekend then?
All right, so the other movie I saw this weekend that's out is The Art of Self-Defense. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, and it's about this guy who is a nerd, and he's treated horribly at work by the other guys. He's not an alpha male. He gets robbed or mugged, and then he decides to go to a karate school, and it makes him very macho, he thinks.
Okay.
And you know, it was interesting. It's a dark comedy. It was interesting. I enjoyed it for like the first half. But then it just kind of degraded into a gory, stupid movie that just didn't really have a lot of gas left in it. So it wasn't for me. The Art of Self-Defense.
Yeah, that sounds all right. You know, Jesse Eisenberg has been sort of iffy on his movie selection. Some of them I love.
I agree.
Some of them not so great. Okay.
I agree.
So anything else on the movie front, or can we jump right into the news?
We can jump right into the news.
All right.
Nothing really good in the movie front. And, you know, nothing really that exciting this summer. It's been a really bad summer at the movies. And, you know, I've seen a few movies lately I liked, but they're not out yet. They're small art house movies, but most of the movies have been so bad. I can't even think of a top 10 of movies I liked this year so far because there really aren't many.
One thing I've noticed about the movie selection this summer is how many of them are obviously pulling on my heartstrings from the 1990s. Because you had the remake of Men in Black. You had the remake of Child's Play.
Right.
There's Star Wars properties that are falling out of the sky, no pun intended. You know, so they keep re-racking these franchises. I hear that Indiana Jones 5 is coming out next year. Rambo, I think 7 or something is coming out in September.
Yeah.
So that,
And also, you saw the trailer yesterday for Top Gun 3 or 2 or whatever it is. The Top Gun reboot or sequel, whatever you call it.
yeah, now in this one, it is going to have Tom Cruise, and he is going to be Maverick.
Right.
Okay, that's all I know about it, and that sounds promising.
And it's supposed to be his son and Iceman's son.
Oh, that's going to be so cool then.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
You know what?
Yeah,
you know
maybe.
who's not coming back? Kelly, what's her name?
Oh, yeah. Not McDonald.
McGillis.
Kelly.
Yeah, McGillis.
something.
McGillis.
And it's
Yeah, Phil News.
McGillis' son.
Yes.
All right. So I hear you're not going to get Starbucks today. What's going on with your love of Starbucks?
I'm not going to get Starbucks? Oh, well, that's right. Well, no, you know what? I'm not going to get Starbucks not just today, but for a long time because the way they treated the police. I mean, that's really crappy what they did. And I really think that the Tempe Police Officers Union let them off easy. Remember when they took a day off?
I don't know all the
Starbucks?
details of this. This is just a headline I read.
All right, so this is from actually like a week and a half ago, or about a week ago, where these police officers were in the Tempe, Arizona Starbucks. There were 6 of them, or something like that, and somebody who was a customer there said he did not feel safe with the police around. So a barista asked them to leave because it's unsafe to have police around. I mean, that's the safest you can be. And so they left, and a lot of people were boycotting Starbucks, but the Starbucks reached out to the Tempe Police Association, their union, and they said that they would basically forgive them because Starbucks reached out to them. But I think it's not enough. Remember they had that day off where they basically shut down all the Starbucks to train everyone or lecture them.
Yeah, they had
about
the anti-bias
racism.
training after a couple of
Right.
black fellas got kicked out of a Starbucks in New York last year, right?
Because I think it was in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
Oh,
but they
yeah,
didn't
Philly
buy,
sounds right.
The
Philly
thing
sounds right.
was, it wasn't about race. It was about they didn't buy anything. And Starbucks has to decide if it wants to be a meeting place or a coffee shop. And they decided they're going to be a meeting place. They said you don't have to buy anything to go there anymore. And I've kept that in mind. But now why would I want to go there when that's the way they treated police and they didn't give them a day? They didn't have a day of blue line training. So that's what's going on with that.
All right. What's your reaction to this ongoing tiff between the squad and whoever's around them? Can you give me 30 seconds on that?
The Jihad Squad?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I think Trump said the wrong thing, but he had the right idea. These people hate America. Obviously, they didn't come from that country, but their parents did. I mean, Rashida Tlaib from Michigan, her parents are Palestinian. Father, hates Israel, hates the West, and so on. They came here for economic opportunities. I think he just used he should not have used that phrase about go back to where you came from or go back to your country, just because of the connotations. But still, what's worse, what he said or Ilhan Omar and the various anti-Semitic things she said, which are horrible.
Exactly. All right, Debbie, your website.
DebbieDoesPolitics.com, DebbieDoesMovies.com.
All right, this is the great Debbie Schlussel. Thank you very much for joining us, and hope to have you back soon. I'm James Spartan for John David Wells. This is the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
It is a horrible scenario, but it happens. Dennis writes about his wife. She was diagnosed with leukemia. In fact, she's a 2-time survivor, and in the midst of all that, they ran up over $1 million in medical bills. Thankfully, they're MediShare members, and Dennis says they are so thankful for that, how others came together to meet their needs, and that's how so many MediShare members feel. This is not health insurance. It's different. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in, and like Dennis found out, it just works. So if you join MediShare, not only do you save a lot of money, the typical family saves about $500 a month, but you know where your money's going each month. You're helping people, and if the time should come, they'll be helping and even praying for you. So yes, it's different, and as more than 400,000 people now know when it comes to healthcare costs, different is beautiful. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-985-1813 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-985-1813 now. Again, that's 800-985-1813. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 immediately. That's 800-605-6995. Page Publishing is looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review each and every book submitted to them and give you their feedback. If they like what they read, they'll get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, Barnes & Noble, and other outlets. They handle everything: editing, cover design, copyright protection, printing, publicity, and distribution. So if you've written a novel, children's book, cookbook, inspirational work, poetry, or a biography and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-605-6995 now for your free author submission kit. Again, for your free author submission kit, call 800-605-6995. That's 800-605-6995. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. Call Page Publishing at 800-605-6995 for your free author submission kit.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm loving my Balance of Nature. Since I started, I have not gotten one cold. I kind of fight everything. I get a little tickle, but it goes away.
It's just amazing the difference I felt. I want you to know how much I appreciate the counseling and so forth and your attention to your people. I have been a pretty big advocate for the Balance of Nature. I don't know how many truck drivers have asked me, how in the heck do you keep going at 88, 89 years old? I said, Balance of Nature. If they want to really enjoy some good health, get on Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code USA.
Welcome. This is the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network with John David Wells. I'm James Parker, filling in for the great John David. If you want to join the conversation, you got anything to add, anything you want to bring up, questions, whatever, 844-723-4687, 844-RADIO-US. All it takes to be a part of this show. I won't check your papers, so if you're undocumented, that's fine. We'll take undocumented callers. You don't have to go back to where you're from until the call's over. Ooh. Hey, so campus reform, boy, they have fun. They could just make a living out of this, and they do. Campus reform is all about exposing the bias that is running around university campuses right now, which is, I mean, that's like trying to find the wet part of the Pacific Ocean. But, boy, they came up with a good one lately. They have a guy go out there, and he looks like he is of college age, so it looks like it's just some guy that's talking to his colleagues. And what he's doing here, the setup is he stops a college student or two and says, hey, I'm going to give you a quote from Trump on immigration, and you tell me what you think of it. And so he asks a bunch of people, gives them the quote. You're going to hear what they say, and then he's going to say, oh, that's interesting, you should say that. Because actually Trump didn't say that about immigration. And then on his phone, he starts playing the video where Obama is saying the quote that he just gave them. So they can't even argue with it. He's sitting there reciting the words that they just called, you can guess, racist, xenophobic, bigoted, all that good stuff, right? White supremacist, all that stuff. Those exact same words are going to come out of Obama's mouth. So here's the setup first. And then after we enjoy this, we'll just, while our popcorn's popping, then I'll play the second half of the little quote escapade. This is from Campus Reform.
I'm Cabot Phillips with Campus Reform. Today we're going to be asking students for their opinion on the policy of deporting people that are illegally here and have broken the law. We're going to be reading them a quote in support of that policy, but what they don't know is the quote is actually President Obama's from 2014. Will that change their opinion? Let's find out. Donald Trump announced this past week that he would be urging ICE and other administration authorities to seek out people living here illegally that have broken the law, to deport them. So I have a quote for you here that's been making the rounds on social media about the deportation of criminal illegal aliens. We are a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our laws, and I believe they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%, and we're going to keep focusing on threats to our security. What's your thought on that quote and that policy in general?
I think that policy comes from a place of white American nationalism. Donald Trump has kind of embraced this rhetoric of racism and xenophobia that is not beneficial to our country at all.
I don't think that quote really stands true.
This administration has totally not done anything moral.
This is really awful.
Amnesty does not necessarily mean that we're losing border security. I think that Trump feels that way.
I think that's a bad decision because the United States should be open to immigrants. It's they call it lands with the free for a reason.
We just have to advocate for those kind of people, and people in Congress like Ocasio-Cortez, who is helping people overcome these kinds of things.
Crimes do not nullify your humanity, and people are coming here in search of opportunity.
Oh, this is so delicious because he's about to turn around and on all these people, he's just going to start playing the video from Obama and their reaction. Look, the thing is you already guessed. Of course, I wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't going to get the fun reaction here. But I guess I have to play it when we get back from the commercial break. Their reaction's adorable. Exactly what you expect. So find out if your creative intuition, how accurate it may be. And then we'll all get a nice little giggle. Ha, 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 ha. And then coming up after that, we're going to do the monologue. And then in the last segment, we're going to do Best Day Ever. It's This Day in History through the prism of how I like to do the historical educational segment. But if you want to try and squeeze in a phone call, plenty of time left. Heck, I got a whole half hour of the show. 844-RADIO-US. 844-723-4687. I'm James Parker, in for John David Wells, and you are listening to the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network. Be right back.
Hi, this is Wayne Allen Root. I have a voice problem. My voice easily gets hoarse. That's a big problem when you're a talk show host. I talk thousands of hours a year on radio and TV. I have to protect my voice. Well, those problems are a thing of the past. My throat is now a workhorse because of My Doctor Suggests all-natural silver lozenges. I pop these lozenges all day long and all show long. Silver has been used historically to destroy bacteria, viruses, and even yeast. Imagine sucking on a lozenge and letting the silver slowly and consistently destroy the cause of mouth, throat, and respiratory problems. Those lozenges work. I'm living proof. They're a miracle for me. Now a more advanced silver formula is available in a liquid gel or lozenge form, and you can get all three in one package and 20% off because War sent you. My Doctor Suggests the name of the company, but Wayne Root doesn't suggest. I urge you to try these remarkable all-natural lozenges today. Call 866-660-9868. That's 866-660-9868, or go to MyDoctorSuggest.com/Root. Use promo code USA Radio to save 20% off. That's MyDoctorSuggest.com/Root.